But then the whole process, then getting in and listening to the rest of the coaches, the rest of the scouts, how they see the entire draft board. But certainly Shadur is somebody that, I think has done a really nice job throughout this process.
Through 2 games, again, I acknowledge it's unfair. I don't see anything that makes me think this guy's going to be the quarterback of the future. That's how I see it.
Hopefully next week goes better for him, but he was not even close to good enough yesterday. Easily could have had 3 or 4 interceptions, and I think we would be talking much differently about him right now.
The stakes have never been higher in the NFL. Last week's disaster with Dillon at the Steelers has sent shockwaves through the league. But amidst the chaos, there's one name that keeps rising to the top: Shedeur Sanders. He's not just a name on the rise, he's the name everyone's talking about. Coach Stefanski has been under intense scrutiny, and the heat only keeps turning up. With every passing game, the pressure mounts, especially after starting Dillon Gabriel. Now, Stefanski is feeling the weight of the decision. It's clear, if Sanders doesn't make it onto that squad soon, the fallout could cost Stefanski his job. But here's the twist: Stefanski's not backing down. In a rare moment of defiance, he came out and said it loud and clear. Shedeur Sanders is handling this process like a pro. The talent is undeniable. The future? It's waiting for him, and it might be sooner than we think.
It's so dependent on the player and the situation, the team that you have. So those are all discussions that we would have based on where we are. But those are the type of decisions that don't get made until into the summer.
Coach Stefanski made it clear that the situation will ultimately determine whether Shadur gets the starting role. He emphasized that Sanders has been putting in the work, and with the changing circumstances, there's a real possibility he could start for the Browns. Stefanski's perspective is shifting, and while the decision is still up in the air, it's becoming increasingly evident that Shadur is on the verge of taking that first-team spot. With these hints from the coach, it's starting to look like Sanders could be the one under center in the next game. Stefanski's growing support for Shedeur Sanders makes sense, especially considering Dillon Gabriel never truly found his rhythm in the game. Looking at his performance against the Steelers, it's clear that as the game progressed, Gabriel's play started to decline. His accuracy faltered, and passes that were once sharp began to miss the mark. Although he managed to throw 2 touchdowns in the first half, when it came down to crunch time, Gabriel couldn't deliver. His struggles with size and positioning became more evident under pressure, making it harder for him to guide the Browns to a victory when it mattered most. Stefanski's shifting perspective addresses the growing doubts surrounding his choices. Right now, all eyes are on him, as many are questioning why Dillon Gabriel hasn't been able to lead the team, especially considering he was Stefanski's pick as the starting quarterback. The concerns are valid, given that Gabriel took the majority of the reps while Shedeur Sanders was stuck with second and third team duties. Inside sources within the Browns are becoming more frustrated, as the current game plan doesn't seem to be producing results. With the team struggling to pose a real threat to their opponents, the pressure on Stefanski is mounting, and there's a sense that his decisions are failing to translate into success on the field.
This is who Kevin wanted, though. That's the thing. Like, this is Kevin's guy. I get so frustrated watching it because, a lot of times we feel like, oh, they're trying to stick a square peg into a round hole and all this stuff. Not now.
The calls for Shedeur Sanders are becoming impossible to ignore, with analysts and respected sports figures increasingly voicing their support for the young quarterback. And Stefanski appears to recognize the weight of this. Notably, renowned journalist Mary Kay Cabot has weighed in, backing Sanders after witnessing Gabriel's struggles against the Steelers. Cabot took to social media, confidently declaring Sanders to be the best passer in the game right now, arguing that if the Browns gave him a legitimate shot, he could truly shine. She highlighted Sanders' precision and accuracy, drawing comparisons to Josh Allen, but it's his raw, untapped potential that she believes makes him stand out. Cabot's powerful endorsement only adds to the growing momentum that Sanders could be the catalyst needed to revive Cleveland's struggling offense. Garrett Bush, a well-known Browns analyst, also shared his perspective, asserting that Stefanski fully understands the clear gap between Shedeur Sanders and the struggling Dillon Gabriel. Bush didn't hold back, calling Gabriel an average player while emphasizing that Sanders is a once-in-a-generation talent. His message is unmistakable. The Browns' future could depend on Sanders, and there's a growing belief that he's the missing link the team needs to turn things around. As the pressure mounts on Stefanski, many are now convinced that Sanders could be the key to unlocking the Browns' potential and transforming their offense. Bush's critique is supported by the tape. Even against a Steelers defense ranked near the bottom of the league, Dillon Gabriel struggled, finishing with under 200 passing yards, no touchdowns, and adding a turnover while being sacked multiple times. Cleveland managed just 9 points, adding another disappointing chapter to a series of lackluster offensive performances. This only raises the same pressing question: can Gabriel truly lead this team to success? Or is a change in quarterback becoming unavoidable? The growing frustration with his performance is making it harder to ignore the need for a shift. Garrett Bush contended that if Shedeur Sanders were to replace Dillon, even with the current struggling offense, he would be able to make something positive happen. Bush argued that if that change occurs, the narrative around the league would shift to one topic: how Shedeur Sanders single-handedly rescued the Browns from another disappointing season. The spotlight would undoubtedly focus on his ability to turn the tide, offering the team a glimmer of hope amidst the ongoing struggles.
Shedeur about to come in here and fill up for 300. If he do, they're going to put the Browns on TV every week. Because it would be that impressive. But by the way, the most impressive I've seen with the Cleveland Browns offense has been the game Shedeur played against the Panthers, where he had no reps storing the trash cans and he came.
Stefanski is well aware of the high stakes he's facing, both in terms of his team's performance and his own job security. The pressure surrounding Dillon Gabriel's struggles is mounting, and the growing support for Shedeur Sanders is hard to ignore. It's clear that Sanders offers more than just raw talent. His presence could be a game changer, not just on the field but off it as well. Stefanski understands that giving Sanders the opportunity to start is about much more than addressing the team's offensive woes. It's a move that could completely shift the momentum of the Browns' season, and it could also help turn the tide in Stefanski's own favor. Off the field, Sanders' potential to connect with fans and the media is undeniable. His high-profile reputation and the growing buzz around him give Stefanski the opportunity to reset the narrative. By publicly backing Sanders and highlighting his abilities in press conferences, Stefanski can frame the situation as one of growth and adjustment, positioning himself as a coach who is willing to make bold decisions for the future of the team. This could shift the focus away from his previous missteps with Gabriel and instead shine a light on his commitment to bringing the best talent onto the field. Moreover, by supporting Sanders in the media, Stefanski can rally the fan base and the locker room behind a fresh start. The narrative becomes about a team on the rise, led by a young quarterback who's ready to seize the moment. It's a calculated move that could pay off both on the scoreboard and in terms of public perception, potentially securing Stefanski's future while positioning Sanders as the face of the Browns' next chapter. What do you think? Can Dillon Gabriel turn things around, or has his time come and gone? Is Shedeur Sanders the spark the Browns need to get their offense firing again, or is the hype just that? Hype. With Stefanski under pressure, should he make the change sooner rather than later, or should he stick with Gabriel and hope for a breakthrough? How crucial is the support from the media and fans in shaping a young quarterback's confidence and performance on the field? Do you believe Sanders has what it takes to lead this team to success, both on and off the field?